Hugh, how you doing?
Mr. Denali?
Doing great, doing great. Good to see you. Good to see you up on the platform again. You've been staying down in the comments.
Yeah, normally I'm doing homework while I'm listening, though.
Oh
I'm
yeah?
going for, yeah, I'm going for my doctorate in economics.
Look
So,
at you. You're gonna be a doctor? What?
yes, sir. Hopefully,
Wow, that's amazing.
it's really hard, harder than I thought it
Well,
would be.
listen,
But
anything worth having is worth. It's gonna be some hard work, right?
right, like right now I have like a 3.8 GPA, but
3.8. You are like a brainiac.
it in no way says what I know. You
Okay,
know what I mean?
okay. Well,
So.
since let me pick your brain a little bit. What are you thinking about what Trump is doing with the tariffs? You think it's going to work? What say you as your almost how long do you have to go before you get your doctorate?
Another year and a half.
Another year and a half. All right, we're going to make you a doctor today. Dr. Hugh, tell us what you're forecasting. What do you think? Let's hear from you.
Well, I think it's kind of complicated. Like, you know, by the end of this year, we have to refinance about $9 trillion worth of debt.
Correct.
And I think when Trump came into the office, he looked at the Federal Reserve and he said, "Hey, you need to drop interest rates," and they told him no. So, if you want to drop interest rates, I mean, create havoc, make the stock market crash. You know, start having people doubt things. And all of a sudden, the Federal Reserve says, "Hey, we have to drop the interest rate to make sure the economy doesn't come to a standstill."
Mm.
Right. So I think that it's pointed. I think that he has a game plan, honestly, because the interest rate dropped to what 6%, and I'd rather refinance at 6% than 7 or 8. Right.
Right? Saving
Um,
money.
yeah. So as far as tariffs go, I mean, I think it would cause global inflation. Yeah. But when you're the first or second largest consumer in the world, people are going to make deals with you, and
Right.
that's what I think about it. So
So a little pain now. In the end, we're going to be in good shape, better shape, because we're going to be saving money on refinancing our debt.
yes, sir. I think that was the ultimate goal.
Right. So what do you
Drop
say? Because I don't. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes.
Okay. What do you say to the liberals who are crying? They're talking about the stock market is down, like the stock market's never been down before. I've been telling people who, if you need your money in less than 2 years or 3 years, you probably should not have it all in the stock market anyway.
Well, I think there's a few things that should be notified. Like one, for me, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent, right? I'm a
Right.
liberal, so I kind of call it like I see it. But those same Democrats are wanting to take the billionaires' money, right?
The tax,
So
taxing their money.
yeah, yeah. So when the stock market crashed, Trump took their money, right? But
Right.
not the way they wanted. So I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You know what
They
I
wanted
mean?
to redistribute it.
Yes, correct. But it also gave the middle and lower class the option to buy into the stock market while it was low.
I don't, what does Warren Buffett say? Buy when there's blood in the street.
And if they didn't take that, I mean, he basically evened the playing field for the last few months and said, "You want in, you got in," right?
Right.
So I think it all depends on how you look at it, you
And
know?
what's your position where you're at financially? If you could take advantage of the down stock market.
Oh, I did. I did absolutely take advantage of the down stock
No, I'm
market.
saying everyone. It depends on where your position is at in the world right now. You know, if you could take advantage of down markets.
Well, listen, if all you have is $50, put that $50 in there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like everybody has an opportunity.
I would agree with you
The question
100%.
is whether or not they're going to take it,
Well, listen, scared money don't make money, right?
right? And I've spent, $100 on shit that wasn't good for me. So, I mean, everybody can come up with $20, right?
I would think so.
And that's a start.
Long term hold.
Yes, sir.
Long-term hold. Okay. Well, listen, Hugh got to be a doctor very soon. We'll be calling him Dr.Hugh, giving us a little bit of time on what Trump's plan is to try to, because we got that big, what is it? How much debt are we going to be refinancing?
$9 trillion.
$9 trillion. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money and a lot of interest payments that we've been paying. So Trump has a plan. Listen, I think there's a method to his madness, and he doesn't say the stuff out loud. But I did vote for him, and I say let the process work. We less than 100 days into his second term. Is he problematic sometimes? Absolutely. He says things that he probably shouldn't be saying. But I do believe that he does have the best interest of these great United States at heart. Does he want to make money while he's doing it? Yes. That's why he sells Bibles and he sells shoes and all that stuff like that. But he, at his core, he's a business guy. You know what I mean? So I say let the
Absolutely.
process work. Go from there. Go ahead, Hugh.
Everything you just. Sorry, I was saying I absolutely agree with everything you just said. Let the process go and see what happens.
Right, because listen, everybody knows what the challenges are. The Democrats know that there's 9 trillion debt that needs to be refinanced. They don't like his plan, but they don't have. I haven't heard a plan from them, and I haven't heard them talking about the debt being refinanced.
Says they're not gonna because it doesn't fit their story.
Go ahead and explain what you mean by that, Hugh. Hugh's giving us some great information here, everybody.
Well, here's the thing. When Democrats start talking about the tariffs, right, and some liberals, it kind of gets on my nerves, and I'm going to tell you why. Because they're all about taxing corporations and taxing the 1%. Let's do away with the loopholes. Well, what's a tariff? It's a tax with no loopholes, right? You're getting what you wanted, but that's not good enough. You know what I mean?
Right?
So, like, you can tell there's a separation, between how they think and what they actually want to happen. And truthfully, a lot of times I think they just want to complain. Listen, for the first 250 years of the United States, it was run on tariffs. Taxes were never supposed to be a thing. It was only the top, 1% or 10% that was supposed to pay taxes during wartime? So this is nothing new. Um, and I think that people need to give it a chance because, I think it could do a lot of good for the United States. I think
Right,
we're sitting
because
on
no
a
one
good
else
opportunity.
has a solution, but they just know I don't like that, but they don't offer up a counter solution that's going to get the same result. They just know I don't like that. He's trying to do this. Elon Musk is bad. Yada 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 yada, without any concrete plan of their own.
Let me ask you this. If everyone in the world, every other country in the world has tariffs, then why is it bad that the United States has them?
Because Donald Trump proposed it. That's why.
Yes, sir. I think
It
so.
kind of reminds me, and my Republican friends may agree or disagree. When Barack Obama came in, they sat in at the Watergate Hotel. John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, and some of the other Republican leaders, and said we're going to try to make him a one-term president by any means necessary. That's what, and they were just obstructionists. No matter what he did, nothing was ever good enough. I used to say back then that if he cured breast cancer, they would say, well, why didn't you cure lung cancer? People are unaliving from lung cancer. And it just seems to be this, I think, Obama derangement syndrome, just like this Trump derangement syndrome. I'm just not a fan of people not liking someone's plan to fix a problem and yet not coming up with their own plan that can get the same result. If that makes sense, what I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Don't don't complain about the problem unless you got a solution.
Exactly. Dang, you said it better than I said. You use 10 words and I use 18,000 words. Thank you, Hugh, because exactly what I'm talking about. Michelle from Texas, how you doing there? Good to see you. Would you like to
Hi,
add something?
hi, Mr. Denali. Yeah. So today I saw Texas Monthly, which is a magazine here in Texas, put out an article about the rise in TDS cases being seen in therapists and psychiatrists' offices.
You're funny.
So there, of course, the comment section was all lit up because they're like, Trumpers are the ones that have TDS, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it's just funny because really, what they were saying is, men don't usually go to therapy, but the liberal men are turning up in therapist offices and they're not talking about their families or their personal issues. They're talking about Trump and politics and so forth and so on. So TDS is real and alive and all that. And, the other thing with regard to, people when they complain and they say, tax the rich, raise the taxes on the billionaires and stuff. The problem with that is that the money that they're already taxing us for, not that I'm a billionaire, but I'm just saying all of us, the money that they're taxing us for, they're already misusing and misappropriating. And we have so much waste, fraud, and abuse. So why would we want to contribute more money to a system that is so flawed like that? The fix is what's happening right now with Doge and Elon and Trump doing the tariffs and cutting back on the bloat in the federal government and so forth. We're putting in the fix and until we've rectified those things and we've got a clean slate, can we just figure out where the tax code needs to end up?
Right. Well, listen, I think that the tax code needs to be cleaned up. There's so much garbage in it. It needs to be simplified. We shouldn't need all these businesses to try to do your taxes, especially if you're just a regular person. I mean, it's almost impossible sometimes. So, listen, I think that I think people don't want things to change because then if things change and they don't have anything to complain about, and then they can't play victim and saying that this, that, or that is happening, and then they'll lose support. I mean, we kind of saw that with VP Harris with her messaging, and 6 million less people voted for her than voted for Joe Biden just 4 years ago. And people are waking up. People are becoming more of a free thinker and kind of not just because you ask people sometimes, why are you a Democrat? They really don't have a reason. It's almost like like you inherit to vote for the Democrat from your grandparents and your parents, and you're not really thinking why you're voting. You're just voting like it's like a trained muscle. And people are waking up like, wait a second. And I agree that the Republicans can do a better job. But if you know that there's a certain block of people that aren't going to vote for you, why would you do anything specifically for them? Hopefully I'm making sense.
Yeah, you're definitely making sense. I was just looking at the comment that Archangel said that close the loopholes, billionaires don't pay anything. I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk disclosed how much he pays in taxes. Mr. Denali, do you remember the amount that he said he paid in
No.
federal taxes last year? I mean, it was obviously a ridiculous amount of money.
I'm guessing that Archangel is for tariffs, right? Because he wants to close the loopholes.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think he's for tariffs. I think he's against anything that Trump does. Blindly, without even researching it. Trump. No, never. And I think he trolls a lot of the time. I really do think, and people, as I've said before, do not chase the thing down the rabbit hole because it gets you off your square. And I think he's exposing a lot of stuff, and people definitely are waking up. The messages I get from people who voted for Trump or maybe wanted to vote for Trump is increasing because they're seeing like something's up. It's not 2 and 2 is not making 4 from the Democrats. And I'm telling you, I've told them many times they need to change and take an autopsy of why they lost and stop blaming people for why they lost. They need to look within, take a mirror out and stand there and look at the blemishes and see where you can be better. People did not buy what VP Harris was selling. And I know they're going to say, oh, she only lost by 1.5, whatever. A loss is a loss. There's no law that says Donald Trump needs to win by 2 votes or 10,000 votes. He just needs to get more, or the Republican side needs to get more electoral college votes than the Democratic side. That's it. Nothing else other than that.
Well, and don't forget, he got all the swing states. So
You
that's,
got all the swing states.
that's a pretty compelling statement.
That is. I mean, for a Republican to win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, I mean, forget about it. I mean, that says a lot, in my opinion. I know people
Can I
disagree.
say a couple things about taxes real quick?
Texas?
So,
Yeah.
taxes. In the 1930s, the federal government used 34% of the budget, and the other, 32%, and the other 68% were used by the states. But today, that is reversed. The federal government uses 68%, and 32% is used by the states. And when you're talking about corporate taxes, what Republicans usually refer to is something called the Laffer curve, which basically states that that there's a certain amount of taxes that you can charge, and if you go above that, it's going to hurt the economy, right? So Republicans usually use that to say, oh no, we need to lower taxes for corporations, which isn't exactly what the Laffer curve says. The Laffer curve never mentions what that is. It's something that you find out through experience. And I'll lay my plane on that.
All right, Kim, why don't you go and do a commercial real quick? Because I didn't pay attention to the likes, please.
Hey, welcome everybody to Mr. Denali XXL's Live, where we always have a vibe.